Everybody. So today we are going to start a new chapter that is dual nature of radiation and matter. So far we have been talking about a wave nature of light. So just to give you a brief recapitulation, right? When we first discuss ray optics, we say that we can figure out light as a ray, right? So if we could figure out light as a wave, light as a ray, and many of the phenomenon of a light could be explained by using geometry. So therefore the optic itself is called a geometrical optics, right? So such as refractions, many reflections phenomenon can be explained by ray optics. All right, then we talk about wave natures. So the wave nature of light was first found by, we talk about Huygens principle, right? And then finally it was Maxwell's who could able to unify electricity and the magnetisms and give a concept called electromagnetisms, which could able to explain entire electricity and magnetisms. All right, and then it was Maxwell's who came to know about the existence of what we call as electromagnetic waves. All right, so his four equations, right, the Maxwell four equations talks about a wave nature of light. A light has electromagnetic wave natures. All right, and then it was Hertz in 1887 practically experimentally generate electromagnetic wave in a lab, and then experimentally receive electromagnetic wave. So therefore the Maxwell's electromagnetisms, right, was formally formally established, right? That means there exists what we call as electromagnetic wave. That means light has electromagnetic wave, and the four equations, Maxwell four equation talks about the wave nature of light. So we talk about in a chapter number 10, we talk about the interference, diffraction, polarization. These all phenomenons which occurs because of wave nature of light. All right, so this was done, and then now next follow just after Hertz, so many invention and discovery in science, physics took place. It was the X-ray was discovered by Röntgen in 1895, and then followed by the electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson, right? So many new discovery took place. All right, and then in 1900, the Planck introduced a very new theory about a light. That means his theory about light consists of the quanta, right? He says that light is determined by the package of energies. All right, light is determined by package, and he could be able to figure out that package of energy in terms of what he called as the Planck constants. All right, so therefore thereafter the Planck constant become one of the fundamental constants. All right, and then in year 1905, it was Einstein's who could able to explain, who could able to give a new pictures of light, that is the particle nature of lights. All right, that is the particle nature of light. That means he could able to explain the photoelectric effects. All right, and he could able to explain the photoelectric effects. He was able to explain the photoelectric effects, in terms of light as a particle nature. So he says that light is a particle. Light is a particle. Light has a particle nature, and he would be able to explain photoelectric. So in this chapter, what we are going to study is we could be able to see that light is no doubt wave nature. All right, and then we also figure out that light also has a particle natures, and we are going to stress mainly on a photoelectric effect. There are so many other phenomena which figure out that light has a wave particle nature like quantum effect. So here in this chapter we would like to study only photoelectric effects. Alright, so we could able to explain the photoelectric effect only by considering light has a particle natures. Alright, so this is what we have, and then in this chapter we are also going to discuss the wave nature of particles. Right, the chapter itself says that matters. So matter is no doubt a particles, right? And then we say that we can figure out that matter has also a wave nature. That means if I reduce a matter to electrons, all right, protons, then such as tiny particles behave like a wave. All right, so this is what we are going to. So this is what we call as a dual. Dual means two, right? Two nature of radiation. Radiation has two nature, that is the particle nature and wave nature, and matter has a two nature, that is particle, no doubt, and also wave nature. So this is what we are what we are going to study, and this topic is the foundation for quantum mechanics, right? So a famous physics, what we call as a quantum mechanic, right? So entire quantum mechanic is based on this concept, right? So now what we are going to study is our focus is to study the photoelectric effects. So before I start photoelectric effects, we would like to study what we call as electron emissions. Electron emissions. All right. So normally we say that a conductor has so many free electrons. Conductor, when I say a conductor has so many free electrons. Free electrons. All right. So when I say a free electron means this electron are free, but they are bound to atom, right? They are bound to atom, or they are bound to metals, right? They are bound to a metal, but they are free to go within the atom. Within the atom. That is the point, right? So now what happens is that in case of metals, there are free electrons, right? So free electrons are weakly bound to a nucleus. They are weakly bound to a positive ions, right? However, what we can do is we can remove those free electrons much easier than electrons which are inner bound, right? Electrons which are much inner atoms, right? So this is the point, right? So now what we are going to do is, yes, how much energy, right? So we talk about what we call as work functions, right? We are going to discuss the concept called work functions. Work functions, which is denoted by a phi naught. Work function, which is denoted by phi naught. So work functions is a minimum amount of energy required to remove electron from metal surface. All right. If we could apply this much amount of electrons, we can remove electron from it. This is the minimum, right? This is the minimum, right? All right. That this is the minimum amount of energy required to remove electron from metal surface. That is the free electron metal surface is what we call as work functions. This is what we call as a work function. Now here I use a light. I use a light to remove electrons. So light is giving energies. All right. Light is giving energy in order to remove electron from metal surface. And here what we are doing, we are heating, right? Thermal energies. We are heating energy, right? Energy is supplied to our atoms. Energy is supplied to atoms so as to remove electron from metal surface. The light energy is light, alright, in form of energy, right? Is supplied to our metals in order to remove electron from metal surface. So this is what we have, right? So this is what we have. So we have like work functions. Just now I talked about work functions. So work function is minimum amount of energy required by an electron to escape from a metal surface. So this is what we have. It is denoted by phi naught. Just now I talked about it. And then unit of work functions, right? Unit of work functions. Unit of work function is given in terms of electron volt. This is what we call as electron volt. All right. This is what we call as electron volt. All right. So electron volt is amount of, this is maybe done in chemistry, and later we'll discuss this, right? Volt function, right? This is electron volt. Electron volt is the amount of energy. One electron, let's say. 1 electron volt is amount of energy gained by electron when put in a 1 volt potential difference. So if I have, let's say this is of 1 volt potential difference. If I put electrons, then this will gain how much energy? 1 electron volt. I put I made a 1 volt potential difference, and then if I put an electron will accelerate, and how much energy electron will gain? 1 electron volt. 1 electron volt, and I can say that 1 electron volt is a very small unit, and it is approximately equal to 10 raised to the power minus 19 joule. So joule is a very big unit, and this unit you will come across in a nuclear physics. All right. So this is what we have, right? So now this is the unit. And now different metal, right? Different metal has a different work function depending on its natures, right? Some metal has a smaller work function, that means electron can be easily removed. Some metal has a higher work functions, electrons are not that easily removed. So therefore we have a table, right? Which shows the different work functions, right? So the smallest work function means the highly active, right? That is the cesium's work function is 2.14 electron volt. This is the smallest. Right? Then the highest work function is platinum. That is a very stable, right? This is unstable. That is very stable, right? So, and then potassium 2.30, and then sodium's 2. That means 2.14 electron volt energy is required. 2.14 electron volt is required to remove electron from cesiums. 2.30 electron volt is required to remove electron from potassium. So that means these atoms are highly reactive, right? So therefore this is a smaller amount of energy is required to remove electron. So this is what we have. So we have a work function for difference, and then based on the work functions, how much energy is required to remove electron from metal surface. So this is the point, right? And now we say that there are different way of removing electron from metal surface. There is a different way of removing electron from metal surface. So here we have 3 different way of removing electron from metal surface. That is, one is a thermo-ionic emission. That means, yes, applying the heat, you remove electron from metal surface. This is what we call thermo-ionic emissions. Then the second one is a field emissions. I am going to supply an electric field, and I am going to supply electric field. The field energy is supplied in order to remove electron. Field energy means I am going to supply a potential difference. I am going to supply a electric field, right? And then the third one that we are going to discuss throughout this chapter is photoelectric effect. That is, we are going to supply light. This is light. And the light is required. Light is going to supply. We are going to use light to remove electron from metal surface, and this is what we call as photoelectric effect. All right. So we would like to do a photoelectric effect. So the first photoelectric effect was observed by Heinrich Hertz, right? Yes, the first photoelectric effect was observed by Heinrich Hertz, all right, but he never knew that particular phenomenon is because of photoelectric effect, right? He found it. What happened is that he was the first scientist who generate electromagnetic wave and then receive electromagnetic waves. So while generating electromagnetic waves, how do we generate electromagnetic waves? We are going to oscillate charged particles. So what happened is that this is how he generated electromagnetic waves. So this is what we have. You are going to oscillate ions. You are going to oscillate charged particle across this knob, and then sparks is produced. That means that the oscillation takes place, and due to which electromagnetic waves is produced. And it has been received. Right. So what happened? What he found is that when these metals, right, are exposed to UV radiations, he found more sparks are being produced. If more sparks are produced, that means intensity of electromagnetic wave is greater. All right. Why there is a greater intensity, or why there is a more electromagnetic wave produced if the metal knobs are exposed to UV radiations, right? So he was not able to answer. However, now we can say that when a metal surface are exposed to UV radiations, this will remove electron from metal surface, and more electrons are available, right, for doing oscillations. If more electrons are oscillating, that means electromagnetic wave will be greater. So this is what. So it creates sparks which sets and changing electric field and magnetic that propagate as electromagnetic waves. Alright. So this is what we have, and this is what we have. Again, this is another form of producing electrons. So I'm going to supply alternating voltage, and then this is how oscillation take place. Again, I will give you this. This is how you are supplying alternating voltage, right? So you go on, and then this is how electromagnetic waves are produced. This is how you can see here spark. All right, you can see here spark. All right, you can see sparks. And then electromagnetic waves are generated, right? The point here, our focus is not how to generate electromagnetic wave. Our focus here is that when a UV radiation is exposed to those metal surface, more electromagnetic wave is produced. The fact that UV radiation removes electron from metal surface, and more charge is undergoing oscillation. So this is what we have. So this was done by Hertz, but he never knew that he never knew about photoelectric effect, right? So the phenomenon of photoelectric effect was discovered by Heinrich Hertz that means at the time when he discovered electromagnetic wave, right? When he generated electromagnetic wave, right? Then what happened is that Hertz observed that the spark occurs more rapidly in the air gap of his transmitter when ultraviolet radiation was directed at one of the metal plates. That's the point, right? Why? Because electrons are being removed. But however, I told you, the Hertz could not explain his observation, but other scientists did it, right? So they arrived at the cause was the emission of electron from metal surface due to incidence of high frequency light, and this is what we talk about electromagnetic wave. But this is what we call as photoelectric effect, right? The second observation, right, we would like to study is Hall work and Leonard observations. Again, before Einstein, right? So what happened is that Leonard studies, right? This is the vacuum, right? This is vacuums. All right, and then this is cathode, photosensitive plate. We call it as a photosensitive plate. What is that photosensitive plate? That means this plate, photosensitive plate. That means plate having a low work functions. All right, electron can be easily removed. Right, this is anode. This is anode, and voltage is applied. Right. So what happened is that it was found by Leonard. It was found by him that this is what we call as the cathode tubes. This is vacuums. What he found is when a photosensitive plate is exposed to a UV radiations, he found a current. All right, he found a current. All right, if he block a UV radiation to fall on a photosensitive plates, and there won't be any current, right? Current would be zero. All right, when no UV radiation is exposed to a photo sensitive plates. Now, when I remove this and allow UV radiation to fall on a metal plates, and he found current. All right, he found a photocurrent. But this current is what we call as photocurrent. All right, current because of light. He found a photocurrent. And then what he also studied, right? Instead of UV radiations, if he allow visible light to fall on a surface, no photocurrent is found. All right. So this is what he found. Only for UV radiations, if I put here zinc, right? Let's say this is zinc. If I put a zinc plates, only for UV radiations, photocurrent is detected. But if I use a visible radiation, no photocurrent is absorbed. And then also he found that if an intensity of light, if he allow more UV radiations, right, brighter UV radiations, if the intensity of UV radiation is greater, he found more current. All right, he found more current. All right, and then he also found that if a potential difference between A and C is increased. If the potential difference between A and C is increases, again he found that there is more photocurrents. All right, and then this all phenomena was not able to explain during those times. All right, this all because of photoelectric effect, but was not able to explain those days. Right, so this was observed by a Linnet. So just now I would like to just explain different observations, right, done by different scientists, right. So this observation was done by Linnet, and then followed by Higgs. Holworth found this observation, right. This is what he found, and this is a zinc plate. This is what we call as electroscope, gold electroscopes. We have done this in chapter number 1. That electroscope is a device which help us to see whether there is a charge or not. This is a device whether there is a charge or not, or more charge, less charge, is all can be done. This is a gold leaf. This is a gold leaf. If separation takes place, then there is a charge. If it is just hang like this, no charge. If this is hang like this, no charge. If they spread like this, then there is a charge. Alright, so this is what we do. Now this was studied. This is a zinc plate, and zinc plate is connected to electroscopes. So what they found is, if a zinc plate initially the electroscope has no charge. Initially the gold leaf appears like this. Initially gold leaf appears, that means which imply no charge. Now what happened is that now zinc plate is exposed to a UV radiation, ultraviolet radiations. When a zinc plate is exposed to a UV radiations, what they found is you see a separation of a leaf, right? Alright, now there is a charge. You see a separation of a leaf. Now how come there is separation of leaf? Alright, because when a series of zinc is exposed to a UV radiations, the electron from a zinc plate is being removed. You see electron coming out from a zinc plate. When you see electron coming out from zinc plate, means now this become a positive charge. Alright, this become a positive charge. Alright, this become positive charge. So therefore this become a positive charge. Therefore this become a positive charge. So this observation was done by Holworth, whole watch. And then and these observations can be explained only under a condition that electron can be removed when zinc plate is exposed to UV radiations. All right. So this is what we have, and the observations are. This is the conclusions, right? When an uncharged zinc plate was exposed, right, irradiated by a UV radiation, the zinc plate acquire a positive charge. Why zinc plate acquire a positive charge? Electrons are being removed. All right, then you can't remove a positive charge, right? Why? Because the protons are within the nucleus, right? When a positive charge zinc plate is eliminated by UV radiations, the positive charge of a plate was increased. All right, more electrons are being removed. If more electrons are being removed, zinc become more positive charge. That's the point. When a negative charge zinc plate was irradiated by a ultraviolet radiation, the zinc plate loses its charge. All right. So that this means that the third sentence says that. If zinc is already, let's say zinc is already negative. Zinc is already negative before zinc is exposed to a UV radiations. Now you will allow UV radiation to fall on it, and since electrons are being removed, you will see these leaves are being collapsed. Why? Because the charge start decreasing, right? Charge start decreasing. As the charge start decreasing, then separation become lesser and lesser. So that means why charge start decreasing? Electrons are being removed. If electrons are removed, number of electrons in a zinc metal become less and less. All right. So this is what we have. And then overall, what conclusion we can draw from this observation is that all this observation shows that when an ultraviolet light falls on the zinc plate, negatively charged electrons are being emitted, and that's what we call as photoelectric effects. And then what we found is that some metals electron can be easily removed. Some metals electron cannot be easily removed, right? So some metal you require a stronger electromagnetic wave, stronger in a sense, higher energy electromagnetic wave. That will come later, right? So therefore, I say, for example, alkali metal like the sodium, cesium and the potassium emit electrons when a light is even a visible light. That's the point, right? So this is very important, right? Alright, even if I supply visible lights, electron can be removed. Electron can be removed for a metal like a sodium, cesium and a potassium, right? And heavy metal like zinc, cadmiums and all, you need to supply UV radiation. That means electrons are not that easily removed. Right? So therefore you need to supply stronger, higher energy electromagnetic waves. So therefore this tells that cesium is a most sensitive metal, right, for photoelectric effects. Alright. So even cesium is sensitive for infrared also, right? So this is what we talk about, right? So in a way, how things are being done is that the light energy is being converted, alright? So therefore, this is that light energy. If I'm going to supply light, and then electrons are being removed, and then we get what we call as electrical energies. Alright. So this is all about observations regarding photoelectric. So we haven't done photoelectric yet, but before we actually do a photoelectric effect, we would like to study what exactly photoelectric effect is all about, right? So this is all about observation regarding photoelectric effect before Einstein explained about photoelectric effect. Thank you.